Man, oh man, Niner fans. Are the 49ers cooked? Chat, are we cooked? That is the question of the day. I know you guys saw all the news. We're gonna sit here and talk about it because today the news it's just crazy. Like the 49ers injuries are at a insurmountable record right now. It's crazy. I think we have like 25 players injured, but specifically the wide receiver room. There was a lot of news circulating today with the 49ers wide receivers. We know the running backs have been dealing with injuries. Like everybody on this team is getting hurt, man. I know they're like not major injuries, but there are some season-ending ones that crept up. And unfortunately, the 49ers, they're starting to mount up that to the point where I'm like, I don't know. I don't know if they're going to be able to weather the storm. I know it's early, and the good news is a lot of these guys can come back. But, man, oh, man. Let's talk about injuries. Let's talk about DeMarcus Robinson. The big news of the day, Kyle Shanahan confirmed today that he did indeed get suspended for 3 games, violating the league substance abuse policy. The team is able to appeal. Apparently, he was in the appeals process about a week or so ago. But it looks like the league finally came down and said, we're going to suspend you for 3 games. And that's the first 3 games of the season. That's tough, man. You got the Saints, you got the Cardinals, you got the Seahawks, first 3 games. Everybody wants to say, oh, it's easy games. No such thing as an easy game in the NFL, my friends. So DeMarcus Robinson likely to be suspended for the first 3 games of the season. And then some really bad news happened in practice, I guess, yesterday. Jacob Cowing. Yes, he just came back from a hamstring injury about a week ago. He re-aggravated his hamstring injury, so he missed practice today. It's unfortunate. This guy just came back, and then he just got hurt again. So right now, if you look at the 49ers wide receiver room, you have Brandon Ayuk, who has, the ACL recovery. He's out until at least week 6. Okay, you got Juwan Jennings. He's got the calf issue, plus he's trying to get a new contract, okay? You got DeMarcus Robinson, suspended 3 games. Jordan Watkins, high ankle sprain. Jacob Cowing, he re-aggravated his hamstring. Right now, your available options are Ricky Pearsall, Malik Turner. They signed Malik Knowles today. Robbie Chosen, Isaiah Hodgins, Russell Gage. I think Tariq Owens is on the roster, but he's not going to make this roster. It is absolutely insane, the injuries that the 49ers have had at wide receiver, plus the suspension to DeMarcus Robinson. According to, Deanna Rossini, you take what she says with a grain of salt, but according to her, the 49ers have been actively trying to trade for a wide receiver. We know the other day, John Mechie, that trade went through or didn't go through for the 49ers. They tried to trade for him, but I guess the Eagles offered more than the 49ers were going to give. So the 49ers have been looking for wide receivers. On top of that, running back depth has taken a massive hit as today they released Corey Kiner. Right? He's dealing with an injury, so they waived Corey Kiner, the rookie. They also waived Damone Harris. Corey Kiner, hopefully he could clear waivers. They could bring him back, maybe put him on PUP or injury reserve or whatever. They signed Malik Knowles, like I said, and then they signed veteran guard Michael Dunn. So all these moves were signed today. And in order to sign Malik Knowles and Michael Dunn, they had to get rid of players, and those two were Corey Kiner and Damone Harris. So Corey Kiner's hurt. Isaac Reno is just coming back from a shoulder injury. You got CMC, right? But you don't want to wear him out. You got Jordan James, who's got a broken finger. Again, we just mentioned Corey Kiner's out. So now you have Jeff Wilson Jr. and you have Keyshawn Vaughn. Like your running back depth is down. Your wide receiver depth is down. It's looking pretty rough right now for the 49ers. So, how are we doing, ladies and gentlemen? What's up? Let me take a look at some of the comments. Sahaj says, we are not cooked. We are deep fried. Adelinson says 3 games. 3 games. Absolutely terrible. JR3 says, get Amari Cooper on the phone. Get somebody, man. Get somebody. We need some wide receiver depth. Hey, Peter Parker says, bro got hurt walking to the practice field. Media says, hey, Raj. Jacob Cowing again. Can't believe it. Your boy, Jacob Cowing, is just not durable. Low-key giving me Dante Pettis vibes. He just can't stay healthy. It's unfortunate. I like Jacob. I think he has talent, but it's not looking good for my boy. Who are some of the 49er wide receiver trades that we could see? I know Romeo Doubs. That was the guy that is, a big name out there that could come in. And the Packers have a multitude of wide receivers. I think Romeo Dobbs is definitely among those guys that the 49ers could look into getting. I think that would be the best option. I'm sure there's other players out there, but to me, if the 49ers are serious about getting a good wide receiver with some upside, I think Romeo Dobbs would be the guy. There's definitely other people, right? Jerry Jeudy, right? Amari Cooper. Obviously, you wouldn't have to trade for Amari Cooper, but that's a guy that you can get, out there. So Gabe Davis, I know the 49ers looked into him a few months ago. He was dealing with his rehab. He's met with some other teams. Definitely a guy they could go look into. Kendrick Bourne, probably a guy they could go get, but he's hasn't been the same since he, blew his ACL a couple years back. So it's interesting. There's guys out there. I think the Colts have a few wide receivers out there and maybe the 49ers could look into. So there's teams that have wide receivers, I think. But first and foremost, like the big guy out there, if you're going to trade for someone, it's probably going to be Romeo Dobbs. I think that's a guy that realistically the 49ers can trade for. But, oh, man, it's unbelievable. Blood Moon says Jacob Cowing is not made for the NFL. It's tough. You don't not have – Peter Parker says, Cowing, the test prove you do not have that dog in you. It's sad, man. It's sad. He has talent, but he looks like he's made of glass and paper mache. And as much as I want to see him play, it's like, what the heck? And then Jordan Watkins dealing with the ankle sprain. Like, this team is actually – they might be cursed. Like, I genuinely can't figure out why all these injuries have sprouted up. It's actually crazy. Like, every single day after practice, after a game, I sit there and I'm like, oh, God, the injury. I got to post this update on the injury every single day. You know how many injury reports I have to do? You know how many templates I've made? You know how many edited pictures I've had to make for injuries? I cannot. I'm so sick and tired of posting injury updates. I want some good news, guys. Andy says Davis would be good. Not the fastest, but he's a deep threat for sure. At this point, beggars can't be choosers. I'd love to get Gabe Davis. I know he's not the same player. He's probably lost the step with the injury. But, I mean, you got to get some bodies in there, man. My man 49ers Media says, Raj is starting to run out of picks. I'm starting to run out of picks. I got to repost the same. I don't like to post the same update picture of a guy. I don't. I like to use new, fresh pick every time because I like the aesthetics for the page. But I'm not going to lie to you. I'm running out of picks, Media. I'm running out of picks. I'm like, God, dog. I'm going to have to start asking for picks like you used to. Running out of picks, my guy, for these injury updates, man. Barry says guys are acting like it's serious injuries. Whole NFL is dealing with it. Calm down. Yeah, the whole league is dealing with it. But the thing is, the Niners have a multitude, 25 injuries. I get it. They're minor. Minor injuries can become major. When your depth is hurt, and let's say a key a key starter goes down, then the depth is hurt. So at some point, these injuries pile up. It is hard to kind of get cohesiveness and, build chemistry. You don't want your guys to get hurt. You don't want your depth players hurt. It is just one of those things where, yeah, okay, the league is dealing with injuries. Yeah, I know the 49ers have guys that are probably minorly injured, nothing crazy, but minor things could turn into crazier things. And, the 49ers, I feel like they're not always upfront with their injuries. You know what I mean? Like, Kyle will say, oh, it's nothing major. Nothing major turns into like a 6, 7, 8 week, type injury. So I don't know. I take those reports with a grain of salt when Kyle says, oh, he'll be fine. Because a lot of times they're not fine. So it's just these injuries are stacking up. And it's a little frustrating because you can't get, build that chemistry and build that callus. And you can't, develop a lot of players. Some of these guys are very young and they just haven't had time. Like Michael Williams, CJ West have been dealing with injuries. Upton Stout, they're going to be starters, week one and throughout the season. They're going to be called upon for a lot. And they haven't really had a lot of, reps in a live game action. So we're going to be learning trial by fire. Julia says, we'll be fine. We got 3 weeks to heal up. I hope so, man. It is tough, though. What do you think we could get? Do you think we could get Tyreek Hill? I think the 49ers probably could, but it's just the price tag. I don't think the 49ers want to get like too much of an expensive wide receiver. I don't know if you'll want – that's the thing. Like, if you're going to go get, like, big-name guys that are still going to carry a high price tag, I don't think the 49ers want to pay a wide receiver over 20, 25 million. Because, look, you already got Brandon Ayuk. You're paying him 30 mil. You don't want to pay another wide receiver that much money. Like, if you're allocating so much to just wide receivers, And with the history they have right now, it's probably not the smartest thing. And look at the 49ers, right? Last year they had Debo and Ayuk, 2 huge contracts. They got rid of the Debo contract. I think they're trying to like shed that money and not trying to spend so much on certain guys. You know, you have young guys like Pearsall who's ready to take that leap, but he's on a rookie contract. So I feel like the 49ers are still trying to make sure they have a lot of young stars, but they're going to need a veteran. But if you get a guy like Tyreek or Terry McLaurin, like those guys that are out there, you have to pay him a pretty penny. I don't know if the 49ers want to pay that high of capital, especially if you roll the dice on a guy like that to pay him, which you're not rolling the dice on their talent. You know they're good, but imagine they get hurt. You're screwed again. Like I feel like the 49ers might have a little PTSD signing wide receivers to big money because they've been burned before, Brandon Ayuk. That's maybe what's holding up this whole Juwan Jennings situation. Maybe it is the calf injury, but I do feel like they're a little nervous to pull the trigger on giving Juwan Jennings more money. Sahaj says OBJ is on the way. At this point, OBJ is on the way. Sing it with me. OBJ. Should we get it going again? Should we get the OBJ to the Bay? Rumors cooking. Hell, Marquise Goodwin the other day was saying he wants to come. Oh my God. This is crazy. We're going to have Marquise Goodwin and OBJ at wide receiver week 1 with 49ers at this point. Like, can you imagine OBJ, Marquise Goodwin for the 49ers week 1 against Seattle? And they'd come out, they'd do the Drake, they'd be singing and dancing. Remember when they danced? And then they danced for Marquise Goodwin's sister, I believe it was. You know, she's got some disabilities. They came out, OBJ and Marquise Goodwin were singing and dancing in front of Marquise Goodwin's family. Viral moment. They're going to do it again as teammates. Can you imagine? Oh, my God, OBJ. Kyle can scheme wide receivers open, 49ers red zone. He can, and he's going to have to. Baby Radiant says, I hope we can get through all these injuries and have a great start. I do, too. I really do. Really do. Swap picks for Green Bay for Dobbs. I like that pick. I like that, Blood Moon. I would love to get Dobbs. Get B. Robinson and Luke McCaffrey. Hey, man, if we can trade with the Commanders, it'd be fantastic. B. Robinson would be great. The 49ers need a running back. Last night, Larry and I talked about it. 49ers are depleted at running back, just like they are at wide receiver. You get a guy like B-Rob, he'd be a great running back too. Look, I like Isaac Guerrero, but he just hasn't proven that he could stay healthy and take a lot of targets and take a lot of hits and, take a lot of snaps. So getting a guy to help out this running back team, this committee, would be beneficial. You don't want to run Christian McCaffrey to the ground right now with how it stands. Jeff Wilson might be getting like 8 carries a game. That's great, but can we really trust Jeff Wilson Jr. in the big 2025 on this roster to get a multitude of carries? Like, yeah, maybe goal line stuff. He's still good. He's still got some talent, but he can't be a running back too at this point. Isaac Guerrero, like I said, if he takes too many hits, he might get hurt. And then you're going to have to put everything on Christian McCaffrey's plate. And that's what happened when he got hurt. He was doing too much. So maybe you get a guy like B. Robinson. Wouldn't be a bad idea. Wouldn't be a bad idea. Baby Radiant says Guerrendo's more of a receiving running back. Yeah, he's a Swiss Army knife. He's a versatile guy. He's not like a traditional running back. He's not the bell cow. We talked about it last night on Larry Kruger's show. He's not the bell cow. He's the guy that's going to give you a couple nice plays here and there, gadget plays. You could throw it to him in the flats, halfback screen, something like that. He's going to go catch it and, run it upfield because he's got speed once he gets the ball in his hands. He's kind of like a similar type player like Debo out of the backfield. Great player, great speed, but he's more of a receiving back. If you start making him run up the middle, halfback dive, he's going to get eaten alive, and then that's when he gets hurt. So it's tough, man. It is tough. Luis, my man Media says, should not have traded Jordan Mason. I mean, I get it. I get why they did it. Give him an opportunity. He was going to be he was a free agent, restricted. Other teams were going to come over the top, and the 49ers, said, okay, you can go get paid and be a star somewhere, which is going to be good for Jordan Mason. But the 49ers got draft picks out of it, and they drafted 2 good running backs. Just unfortunately for them, they got hurt. And Jordan Mason, he did have some fumble issues, had some blocking issues. So I feel like on the Vikings, he's going to fit their system maybe better. He's going to be great. I wish they still would have Jordan Mason. But again, 49ers, they grabbed some draft picks. And if you think about it, they turned Jordan Mason into Marquise Marquise Siegel, and he looks like he's a gem. So if they turn Jordan Mason into a future starting safety on this team, I'm okay with it. I get why they did it, but you're right. At this point, when you look at the roster and you're looking at roster metrics and stuff, it's like, oh, man, I wish we had Jordan Mason because he was a good player. Yeah, I 100% agree. He worked his way up to the top, but they thought they were going to do that with Corey Kiner. Unfortunately for Corey Kiner, he gone because of high ankle sprain. So MSQ says, hell yeah, we can trust Wilson, Garendo, and Kiner as a collective unit. We can't trust Kiner anymore because he's got the high ankle sprain and they waived him. Now they might bring him back down the line, but his injury is probably going to be a six weeks recovery. So unfortunately, I do like Garendo. I do like Wilson. Wilson's a little bit older. I just don't trust him carrying too many times. And, you know, you don't want him to get banged up. Garendo, same thing. I like the guy, but he's just perennially banged up, right? What do you think about Nick Martin? Says 49er red zone. We talked about it before. I think he made a lot of improvement from week 1 to week 2. Definitely just needs to kind of calm down a little bit. He's so hyper out there, but you could tell he's got some really good talent, and I think he's going to be a good linebacker. He's very athletic. Didn't play a lot last year because of injury in college, so I think he's just like eager, chomping at the bit to get out there. But I like what I saw in week 2. Still missing some tackles, but he's just so hyper out there. Red Zone says how hurt is Pooney? He's going to miss a couple weeks, knee sprain. Hopefully he's ready for week 1. It could have been a PCL, so I think he's better than what we expected on first sight. But the fact that he was in on that field goal attempt, that was no bueno. Keep Lucas, absolutely keep him. I think he should make this 53-man roster. He's worked his ass off. Ryan Martin says Niners are a top 10 injured team every single year under Kyle. ... I know. Sahaj says we're getting tired of the injury reports. You're getting tired of these injury reports. Imagine me. I have to post them, stop what I'm doing all day, post it, and it's frustrating because A, I see it and I'm like, God, these people are not going to like it. And then B, all I do is give you guys bad news. I don't like to give you guys bad news. I like to give you good news. Louis says bring back Tevin Coleman at this point. At this point, you might as well, right? Do I see Baby Radiance? Do I see Nick Bosa getting traded next season? I don't, but anything can happen. Expect the unexpected in the NFL. I don't think they'll trade Nick Bosa. That'd be crazy. I think that Bosa is going to be here for a very long time. Maybe finish his career here, but crazier things have happened. I never thought they'd trade DeForest Buckner, and they did it. So who knows? Raj, the headaches never stop for the 49ers and fans every season and every offseason. It's a roller coaster being a Niner fan. 49ers Red Zone says anything on Mustafa, nothing new. Mid-season return, most likely. Blood Moon, Frank Gore Jr., yeah. Larry Krueger hyped him up, talked him up. I think Niner fans would go absolutely feral if they were to get Frank Gore Jr. They go crazy. Bring him on. I'd love it. I would love to see Frank Gore Jr. in the red. But there would be a lot of pressure on him. But at this point, we need bodies. Who isn't injured? At this point, who isn't injured? I mean, I should make an update post just on who isn't injured at this point. It's like who... At this point, I forget who's not even injured because it seems like everybody's injured. Can I play running back? Negative. I take one hit, I'm gone. He gone, I'm done. I'm going to have to give the page to Brad. He's going to have to run both our SF 49ers and the SF 49ers. If I take a hit in the NFL, it's no. Can't do it, won't do it. Dust off the Gore jerseys. MSQ says, I never seen Krueger glaze anyone as much as he had with Richardson. Bro, I couldn't believe it last night. I was like, Larry, stop it. What are you doing? Anthony Richardson, he's not even that good. But he loves him some Anthony Richard. AR-15, he was on another dimension with that guy, right? He said he's the best. He's got the best skill set out of every quarterback in the league. I said, are you kidding me? I said, quit mid-game. Media says, am I going to have to run your page? I might have to give you the page if I can't run it anymore, if I have to play running back. So 49ers Red Zone says I can take a hit. Who are some receiver options and running back options that we could get? Yeah, we mentioned it. I mean, I don't know if the 49ers are going to go after the big names right now because it's just preseason. I don't think they're going to go after anybody in the next couple of days like Amari Cooper or anything. But I feel like after this week, after preseason and the roster cuts are going, they might look into guys like Amari Cooper, Romeo Doubs, and guys like that. Running back, right? We mentioned there's Brian Robinson. There's Frank Gore Jr. There are guys out there. But I don't know if the 49ers are going to go really and break the bank for some guys because they have players. just their minor injuries. They're going to miss a few of the first weeks. And then the DeMarcus Robinson situation is like, damn, we need a guy to cover that 3 weeks, right? I'm a little irritated that the 49ers, they knew that Robinson had that issue, and they still got him, knowing he's going to miss the 3 weeks, which it's whatever. 3 weeks is 3 weeks. But with this team and their history, and then you had, Ayuk with the injury, I feel like it was not the most calculated signing. And I love DeMarcus Robinson. I think he's been really good for the 49ers. I've been pleasantly surprised with how he's played, but it may not have been the smartest signing this offseason in terms of, starting the season. You want to start off hot, but, it's a long season. If they can at least win some of those games early and then weather the storm, when he comes back and everybody comes back, it's going to be a solid team. But again, I think DeMarcus Robinson is going to be a very good player for the 49ers. He's going to be a very consistent, reliable target, and he showcased that. But missing 3 games early on definitely is not a great thing. It could be worse. 3 games is not worst case. It's not too bad. I think they can weather the storm if they can get a good veteran in the next couple of weeks. So Ruben says Robinson is underrated. He really is. I actually really like his talent. I mean, even when we signed him initially, I was, ooh, this guy's good. I saw him on the, Rams last year. He did really good. He was scoring touchdowns. He had big catches. He's a, big play receiver, very consistent. He can move the chains. He's a reliable, he's got reliable hands. I like his game, man. And during training camp, every time I've seen him, I'm like, wow, look at this guy. Always making big plays. I was like, man, I'm really impressed with DeMarcus Robinson. So I'm going to be really upset that he's gone for 3 weeks, because I think he could be a difference maker on this team. So Leon says, I know they call the Bills for wide receivers. Curtis Samuel, Elijah Moore, Chenault are options there. Yeah, I think Laviska Shenault, definitely an option. I know we talked him up yesterday on Krug's show. Laviska Shenault, definitely to be a guy that Kyle would love to have. He's got that versatile skill set that he loves. You can play him all over the field, kind of like a Debo type guy, gadget receiver. Laviska Shenault, I think, would be an excellent addition. Probably wouldn't cost you much. Elijah Moore, another guy that I feel like could come right into the roster and at least give us a little something for a couple of weeks. So, there's some options out there. MSQ says, Kruger is a big fan of quitters like Cam Ward in the ball game. Oh man, it's insane, these injuries. But I think the good news about these injuries is it's still early. Nothing they're not like major injuries, but these minor stuff can turn into major things later. I just don't like all these soft tissue issues, these soft tissue injuries. They can kind of manifest to other things, but that's the NFL. It's tough. You're going to get hit. You're going to get injured, and it's got to weather the storm. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, unfortunately, the 49ers wide receiver core is a little cooked right now, but they'll get better. So real quick before we head out of here, let's do a little recap, shall we, of today's news. Obviously, this morning, Deanna Rossini said the 49ers are among several teams making calls for a potential trade for a wide receiver, and it totally makes sense after today's news. They did sign guard Michael Dunn. They did sign wide receiver Malik Knowles. They did release Corey Kiner and Damone Harris. Jacob Cowing missed practice today because he re-aggravated his hamstring injury. Very bad news. Let's see. And DeMarcus Robinson has been suspended for the first 3 games of the season for violating the substance abuse policy. The team can appeal, but it doesn't look like I don't think my opinion, I don't think that we're going to win in any appeal, and we're going to miss Robinson for the first 3 weeks of the season. And that's it. And 49ers, right now, the wide receiver room looks like this. Ayuk, ACL recovery, out until at least week 6. Juwan Jennings, calf issue, plus he's seeking a new deal. DeMarcus Robinson, suspended the first 3 games of the season. Jordan Watkins, high ankle sprain. Jacob Cowing, re-aggravated his hamstring. The current 49er wide receiver options include Ricky Pearsall, Malik Turner, Robbie Chosen, Isaiah Hodgins, Russell Gage, Malik Knowles, who was signed today, and Tariq Owens, who probably won't make the roster. There's your news for today. It's trying times. Good news is it's only preseason. It should get better. You guys have a good rest of your day and get out of here.